I didn't really know what to do. I mean, I had a couple friends, but those friends came and gone or came and went. Please stay, because like you guys are like my only friends, or you're my only friend. They're like, no, get away from me. And that's kind of how it went. Second all the way to fifth grade. Fifth grade was the worst grade probably ever, and I got bullied a lot just because I had Tourette's. It was to a point where I kept telling people, hey, I can't control this. I can't control this. And they're like, yes, you can. Stop lying. You're just doing it for attention. I'm not doing it for attention. This is something that I can't control. There's no use in talking to people that don't want to listen. There would be times where I was driving home with my mom in the car, and I would tell her like all the really horrible things that the kids said to me, and she would just start crying. And she didn't really know what to do. And I didn't really know what to do either, so I just kind of sat there. If you were to interview like 100 people with Tourette's, it would be completely different throughout everybody that you interview. One person could, cuss out loud. Another person could also twitch their fingers, and another person could, twitch their eyes and say certain sounds that don't make any sense. For me, it was usually vocal tics, making like a weird hum, twitch my eyes and twitch my nose, tilt my head up. It's a really bad habit, but I would also bite my nails and sometimes pick at my skin, and I don't really know why those tics like chose me or whatever, but like when I was around maybe 6 years old, I got a Wii for my birthday. I even remember the game I was playing. I was playing the new Lego Batman. I was playing it and my mom was watching me. I would twitch my eyes, I would tilt my head up, I would hum within like the back of my throat, and she's like, what are you doing? At 6 years old, you don't really know what it is. I mean, you're just sitting there playing like Lego Batman or whatever, and all you do is just live your life as a 6-year-old boy. I mean, you don't really know what it is yet. My mom just saw me one day and saw me twitching, and she said, okay, we're gonna go take you to like a child psychiatrist. I said, okay. I don't really like the doctor that much, but we'll see. We went to the child psychiatrist. She started asking me like, what do you do usually in your everyday life? What do you like to do for fun? Talking to a kid, trying to get answers out of a kid. I felt kind of like at home talking to her. Like, she had a really gentle tone. I felt safe in the environment I was in. After she would ask me a few questions, she would say, okay, go over there and go play. And she had like a bunch of toys, and she had a bunch of like action figures that like her patients could play with. While I was playing, this woman would talk to my parents. And at one point, I was given medication for it. I was on it for maybe like a couple months. There were these little like white and blue pills. Sometimes they were white and yellow, sometimes they were white and blue. Apparently, it would, I don't know, sort of alleviate some of the tics that I was having, because at that point they were pretty serious. One of my parents kept getting frustrated with me over it. I would just keep telling him, hey, I can't control it. I can't really do anything about it. At that time, I'm just a kid. I mean, I don't really know how to stop them, even if I can't stop them at that age. I mean, for a while, I tolerated it. And I still kind of think back and think, well, it's not really their fault per se. I mean, their parents, I mean, they want them to have the best life possible. But at what point do you I mean, think about it and say, hey, this is my kid. I gotta understand where he's coming from. I mean, I don't really know about that whole part. I mean, you would have to ask that parent. But medication that I had, I was on it for like months and months and months. My parents told the doctor, hey, this isn't working, we're not seeing any improvement. And my doctor just completely took me off of them. I felt no difference. To this day, I don't even think that they did anything. I just think that they we're just there. So entering middle school was kind of like a trip. The culture shock is completely like, it's huge. It can be really, really overwhelming, and anxiety can lead to a lot more tics. And that is the case for me. It was nothing but just ticking and ticking and ticking all the time. You could definitely see it. Like, people would look at me and people would be like, what in hell is that guy doing? I'm just sitting here doing my work, twitching my eyes. There's not really much I could say about that other than leave me alone. I really cared about how people thought of me. And now I don't really as much. But back then, yeah, I really did a lot. People would mostly laugh rather than like say, ooh, look, he's weird, like they would in elementary school. They would just, say like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing that? Told them why, and they said, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Whenever they would reply to you, they would say it in such a mean way. They probably didn't mean it in a mean way, but that's certainly how it looked like to me. Walking from class to class, I would always just keep ticking and ticking in the hallways, and I couldn't really stop. And people would look at me and then look back over their shoulder and like, what is that guy doing? And I would just be walking to class. It was really hard. After graduating, I went on to high school. My brain started to develop a lot more, and I started to get like a better understanding of who I was, what my tics meant to me. I could control them a lot better than I would be able to when I was just a little kid. So I would tone them down a lot. What I like about high school is that people would see them, but they wouldn't really care at all. Controlling a tic, really all it is I'm sorry, I can't even speak right now. Controlling a tic happens in a split second. Let's say, for example, my eyes are twitching really, really, really bad. All I let it do is I let it take its toll for like a few seconds, and then my brain just puts a stop to it immediately. It's almost like it's involuntary for me. Like my brain just knows what to do. And my brain didn't used to know because I used to not be able to control them when I was a kid. The older that I got, controlling them became a lot more easier. I would let it happen, and then I would stop it once my brain knew that like, hey, that's enough. You know, it's kind of like the knock it off thing that happens in your brain. The less you fight it, the more easier it is to control it, in a sense. Kind of scrolled through junior year with like minimal to no tics, and I thought that was pretty cool because I was discovering things about myself and my mind that I didn't know that even existed. I didn't know that it would slow down as time went on, as I became an actual adult. I'm so glad that I don't have as much as I used to. They're still there from time to time, but they're nowhere near as frequent as severe as I had them before.
If you could tell everybody in the world one thing, what would it be?
Well, when it comes to Tourette's, I mean, everybody that has it, they don't choose to be born like this. I mean, we don't wake up one day and say, hey, I like having Tourette's. So if I were to say probably one thing, it would probably be patient, be mindful, be open-minded, so that they can think about it and say, hey, oh, it's not something that they can control. Let's be a little bit easier on them.